Hi everyone, and welcome to, I'm not sure what episode this is, of the Lumi Knits podcast. My name's Hayley and I am here in beautiful central Victoria on Wotherong ground, and happy to be back and podcasting with you again. It's been a long time, I think maybe about 6 months. I was going to go for a monthly posting schedule, but that didn't happen. I've started working out of the house 3 days a week, so that's taken a lot out of me. But I'm still here. I've been knitting and I'm really happy to be here to share it with you. So I'm going to get started right away. I'm not going to say out loud the links to socials or anything like that. I'll pop it in the link description if you're interested in taking a look. So part of the reason I wanted to do a podcast was because I have a stack of whips. No, that's how long it's been. I have a stack of finished objects that I wanted to share with you. I'm not organised enough to show you my whips, and I probably won't have time because last count I think I had about 7. A lot of them are long-term whips, just between you and I. So I'm going to jump straight into it. My first finished object that I wanted to show you is the Crawford Shawl, which I'm wearing and I absolutely love. I only finished this on Sunday. Today's Wednesday. And I've worn it every day except once, even before it was blocked. So the Crawford Shawl is by Knox Knit Co. And you can find the pattern on Ravelry. It's a paid pattern. So obviously I'm not going to tell you how to knit it because that would take a long time anyway. But this was my birthday knit. So my birthday was back in May. So it only took me a couple of months, which is pretty good for me. I'm not a fast knitter. I'm just going to try and angle this down a little so you can see more. I knit this up in a Juniper Moon Patagonia Organic Merino in the colourways Ivory and Anthracite, and I'm super happy with it. I think this is one of my favourite knits to date. I'm going to take it off so I can show you this beautiful slip stitch motif that's really kind of the shining star of this knit. You can see it's just this really sort of It's very simple, but I think it's very effective pattern, and it's done in slip stitch. It's not stranded colour work. It's done in a slip stitch method. So there's still floats and stuff, but they're not very long and they're fairly easy to deal with. So it's a slip stitch and then just a sort of really long triangle scarf / shawl, which is good for me because I'm not a big fan of the deep the really deep triangular shawls. I can't work out how to style them. It took me quite a while to work out how to style this one, but now that I've just played around with it until I figured it out, because it's got obviously a front and a back. I wanted to make sure that I was showing the most beautiful parts of the shawl when I wore it. So highly recommend this pattern. I'm so happy with the finished product. Ooh, I have to remember not to touch my desk because it'll start to wobble. See? Don't touch the desk. Yeah, super duper happy with this pattern. I think I got to about the middle and I started to freak out a little bit. Just, it didn't quite look how I expected. I was a bit unsure about some of the eyelets on the edge here, but I kept going because I was halfway through, and I'm really glad I did because I was thinking about frogging it. But my advice to you is if you're halfway through and you're thinking about frogging this particular pattern, don't do it. Finish it off, see how it looks. It's not that much more work, so see it through and check it out. So I hope I'm not running along too fast here. I've got a lot going on today, so I'm kind of just trying to sneak this in really quickly. My second finished object, I did it again. Sorry to those people that don't like it when the camera wobbles. I'm filming on my phone, on a tripod, on top of my laptop, on top of some drawers, on top of my desk, and it's very wobbly, but I'm not a professional. I don't have a professional setup, so sorry. So my next finished object are the Autumnal Mitts by Fibre and Threads. I knit these up in a really old leftover ball of Bendigo Woolen Mills rustic 8-ply. This was what I used in one of my very early jumpers, a weekender, which I love to death. and I felted it the second time I wore it, but I loved it so much I still wear it even though it's felted. So good to know. Be more careful with these. So this was a really easy knit. It's got some lovely lace work on here just to give it a little bit of extra interest. I made these considerably shorter than what the pattern called for, so I think I did one less repeat on the bottom and one less repeat on the top, and that's because of two reasons. Firstly, I don't like really long mitts coming up my arm. I just like it to barely cover my wrist. And two, I was playing a very dangerous game of yarn chicken, and I didn't think I was going to win, but I did, and I managed to squeeze both of these mitts out. One of them has got some mistakes in it, but really these are just for walking the dog, so I'm not too worried. They came out lovely. They're very warm, very cozy. The thumbs are a bit crazy. I was being very lazy and decided to magic loop it on 9-inch circulars that I used to knit it, which is not a good idea. I should have just switched to a longer cable, because now there's quite a visible gap in the thumb where I was magic looping. I very rarely magic loop. I much prefer a 9-inch circular, and I rarely knit anything small like that. So next time I'll know, and next time I will not make the same mistake. So they are the Autumnal Mitts. I'll try to remember to add descriptions on the video, and I'll pop all the details of these knits in the show notes in case you want to check them out. So I'm going so fast. I'll try and slow down. My next knit is a birthday gift from my uncle, who I share a birthday with, and this is how slack I am. I still haven't given them to him, and it was over 2 months ago now. But I knit him just I make him a pair of socks each year because he loves them so much. I don't know that he ever actually wears them, which is, I don't know. It's not disappointing because I know that he enjoys them, but you know, when you knit something for someone, you kind of hope they wear them. Anyway, it's just a basic sock, and excuse my jogs, I am not a stripe knitter, so the jogs came as quite a surprise to me. This is the first one that I knit because the jogs are really visible. The second one, I did a little bit of research on how to make them less visible. They're still there, but they're not as noticeable as on this one. This is the yarn that was left over from my Tecumseh sweater, which was a Bendigo Woolen Mills, I think it's a rustic tweed. I know that this yellow honey colorway was called Honey. I couldn't tell you what the blue is, or maybe denim or something like that. And again, these are just leftovers from a sweater. So I was again playing yarn chicken. I don't know why I've become so risky. It's not like me at all. But anyway, they came out pretty nice. I'll turn it around so you're not looking at the jog side. This is just a vanilla sock pattern that essentially I made up. I like a twisted rib cuff. I did a fish lips kiss heel because they seem to be working for me quite well, although I haven't been as comfortable in fish lips kiss heels as I have been in a heel flap and gusset, so I may change back. And this is a toe. It's called Socks Without Ears. There's a my end's peeking through there. I'll turn it around. It's a Socks Without Ears technique, which is on the Modern Daily Knitting website. And I use this because I really like a rounded toe and I don't love grafting. So it's basically just decreases all the way up and then you weave it through the last 8 and tie it off. So hopefully my uncle will like these. It was very fortunate. I showed these to my mum and she said, "Oh, you made them in the yacht club colours." So my uncle is a sailor and he is a member of a particular yacht club, and it just so happens that these are the precise colours of the yacht club. So now he's got some yacht club socks, which I hope he'll wear. Maybe on the boat. Probably not because they'll get wet. Anyway, I should show you the other jogs. Well, it's pretty good that I can't find it. There it is. So still visible, but not as severe as the others. Can't remember what I did to achieve that. It would have just been some YouTube tutorials. I feel as though I tried a couple of different techniques in the same sock. and one worked better than the others, but I played a bit fast and loose with those and I didn't really write it down. So yeah, they're the socks. My final one is very exciting, and again, it's a gift, and it should have been gifted by now because the baby was born in April, May? I think it was in April. But luckily I knit it way too big. So when I do eventually stop being such a lazy auntie, I will get up and give this to her. So this is a Camille blouse by Mille Knitwear. I don't think it's on Ravelry. I think you have to buy it direct from the designer's webpage. But I've made this pattern a few times. I've never quite gotten it the way it looks in the pictures. I think I knit it a little too short, but it's just a little short sleeved top with these really nice raglan decreases, very simple, and a peplum on the bottom. So it's longer at the back, uses short rows to make it longer at the back, and there's a little I put a tie on it just because I don't know, I don't have a lot of success with buttons, so I just put a little I-cord tie on the back for the baby. And yeah, so I knit this in Bendigo Woolen Mills Bloom, some leftover bloom that I had. It was in a pastel colourway. I can't remember what it was called. And in some Tranquility, Bendigo Woolen Mills Tranquility yarn that I was going to use for the last Stephen West mystery knit along, which I got, I don't know if I made it past Clue 2, just didn't feel it. So I pulled it out. Now I've got these lovely balls of yarn, especially look at this colour. I got this one out so I could see what the yarn was called, and I'm a sucker for this colour. This one's called Gold, and it's pretty gold. Anyway, that's an aside. So this is knit up in the Bendigo Woolen Mills Bloom and Bendigo Woolen Mills Tranquility held together. And I like it because it makes the gradient change just a little softer than what it is when you hold have just one strand. But also I think I knit for my daughter, I knit something and I held two strands of bloom together, and it was just a bit more of a mild effect. But I really like that it's got this fade and that the colours sort of work into each other, and I think it's going to be really sweet. I made my daughter one of these when she was a baby, and she wore it quite a lot and for a long time, because when she was a baby she wore it as like a dress, and as she got bigger it was more of a top, and it's a really great one just to throw over the top of a little outfit, a jumpsuit or something like that, to add a little bit of extra warmth. So that's all my finished objects, and that was way faster than what I anticipated, but I suppose I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm a bit rusty, and I think that's all I can really say about those projects. I've had some problems with my arm. So I've got bursitis and tendonitis in my shoulder, tennis elbow, and suspected carpal tunnel in my wrist. So that's really slowed my knitting down. I haven't knit anywhere near as much as I used to, and it's taking me a little bit to recover when I do knit, but slowly but surely it's all getting better, so that's the good news. And I'm able to knit for sort of longer periods of time and not have as much pain. I've tried stretches and things like that, but I think I've just got a lot going on in my poor right arm. So yeah, that has slowed me a little. I've been sewing a bit, but not a lot. Nothing really to mention there. I am super excited because on Friday I'm taking my mum to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. Or is it the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo? Anyway, it's the big event that's happening in Bendigo, which is about an hour and a half up the road from me. So my mum's coming to stay. We're going to head on up there on Friday and have a great day. We're hoping to stop in at Bendigo Woolen Mills because even though I'm a big fan of their products, I actually have never been there. My mum's a crocheter and she uses their stuff pretty much exclusively. Now she really likes their all their stuff. She was really into the cotton for a while, and now she's a bit more into the wool, I think, but it varies with the season and her project. But yeah, we're looking forward to a great day. We don't get to spend a huge amount of time together, So it should be really fun. Yeah, so if you are at Bendigo on Friday and you see me, come along and say hi. There's a 95% chance I'll be wearing this, so I'll be pretty recognisable. I'd love to meet you. Well, I think that I am going to stop there. Maybe if this is a little difficult for you to follow, put it in like slow-mo. I think you can do that on YouTube. I often play things faster than what they're supposed to be, just because it's usually for work and I want to get through it a bit quicker. So I'll put it on 1.25 speed or 1.5. So feel free to slow me down if you need to. It might be more relaxing for you, and that's what we're after. Oh, I didn't talk. Oh, did I talk about whips? I think I mentioned whips. My major ones are a Sonder sweater that I'm knitting for my husband. I'm really slogging through the colourwork yoke because I enjoy colourwork, but for some reason it's really aggravating my arms. So this is going to be a long project. I'm looking forward to when the colourwork's finished and I can get onto the stockinette. But I'm gonna try and record once a month, and hopefully I'll be able to show that to you in the next episode. I'm also knitting a Tiilda hat. I don't have the name of the designer off the top of my head. I've got a few notes in front of me, but it's not there. And I'm just knitting that up in a bulky weight yarn that I've got lying around. It's just a basic cabled hat. I need it because I've got this one that I can't take the credit for. I picked it up at the op shop. It's wool because it smells like wool, but it's got a hole in it and it's definitely seen better days. So I was trying to replicate this. I'm going really long with the brim this time because I always weasel out on the brim. I always cut it short and I'm never happy. I don't think I've made a single hat that I've been really, really happy with. So I'm just going crazy with the brim. I'm trying to make it as long as this one, and I'm working off the schematics of this because I really, really love this hat. It's one of my favourite knitted garments and I didn't even make it. So that's the other whip that I'm working on. I'm also considering bringing the Penguono, bringing the Penguono out of hibernation. I'm so close to finishing it. I just have to do the I-cord edging, but I just feel like it's so ugly and I just don't want to wear it, and I don't like the colours. And I took Stephen West a little bit too seriously when he said use whatever colour you like. I think that works if you use bright colours like he does, but when you tend to stick to, I don't know, a bit more neutral colours, sometimes it just looks bad. And every time I look at the Penguono, I think that just looks bad. So I have very little inclination to pick it up and finish it. It's got a little bit of work left, but not a huge amount, and I really should try and do it. Should I make a commitment? Should I say I'm going to finish it by the end of the year? No, probably not. Maybe by the end of next year I'll have it finished. We'll see. Hold me accountable. Ask me in the comments, how's the Penguono going? And I'll probably say it isn't because it's ugly, but that's okay. Not everything is going to come out perfectly, and it will be very warm when it's done. So that's something. I think I'm getting into the rambling portion of the podcast. It's nice to be back and to be able to talk about knitting stuff because I don't know anyone else who's as interested in knitting as I am. So it's kind of nice to get on here and just have a bit of a chat about it. Anyway, I'm going to stop now because I've chatted enough. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, congratulations, especially if you didn't put me in slow motion. I'll try and record another one soon, maybe after the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show, because I'm hoping that I'll pick up a few nice things when I'm there. I've been saving some money to take with me, so I'll be looking on the lookout for some beautiful yarns and just really looking forward to having a good time. All right, catch you later.